Halo Infinite gives fans a bevy of new tools and weapons to mess around with, meaning it's never felt better to be Master Chief. But none of his new toys are as versatile or give you as much room for creativity as the Grappleshot. This piece of equipment is so helpful, both while you're traversing the Zeta Halo ring and in combat, and there are a number of ways to use it that the game doesn't necessarily spell out for you. So, here are 15 tips for mastering Halo Infinite's Grappleshot. To start, we're going to cover the things that you can achieve with the Grappleshot at its base level, before receiving any of the upgrades available for it later in the game. This video will be focused on single player tips for the Grappleshot, but if you're looking to get creative in multiplayer as well, keep in mind that this base model is the version that you will find on the battlefield. Also, since we're getting into some later game upgrades, we're going to drop a light spoiler warning here, but don't worry, we won't ruin any big story beats or anything like that. The Grappleshot's utility boils down to two distinct functions: pulling yourself towards something, and pulling something towards you. Let's talk about pulling yourself towards something first. When it comes to navigating a space, you can use your grapple to reach a ledge or structure above you, allowing you to find cover quickly or pursue an enemy. You can also use your grapple to pull yourself away from combat and behind cover if you need. Just be mindful of the recharge time. If you blindly fling yourself over an edge and you need to catch yourself quickly, you might regret being so hasty. While grappling towards something, you can alter your approach by using the control stick. Holding backwards or forwards changes how fast you will be reeled in, and moving left or right will slightly curve your approach. You can use this to bend around corners if you have enough momentum. If you're feeling aggressive, try hooking directly onto an enemy. This will stop them from attacking you as you hurtle towards them, and you'll automatically perform a melee attack once you're in striking distance. This is great for weakened or smaller enemies, or if you happen to be equipped with an energy sword or gravity hammer, you can use it to pick on someone your own size too. If you try to grapple onto a jackal's shield, you'll open up their defenses instead of attaching to them, similarly to if you had sneaked a shot through their shield. You can use this opportunity to shoot them down, but keep in mind that grappling their shield doesn't use your grapple charge, which means you can instantly fire it off again and hook yourself towards them. Now, let's talk about hooking stuff and bringing it towards you. The Grappleshot can be used to yank weapons and equipment straight into your hands. This is super handy, but bear in mind that any weapon you grapple towards you will swap out your currently equipped weapon. This can be a lifesaver in a firefight if your weapons run out of ammo, or if an enemy is guarding a piece of equipment that you need. Keep this in mind in multiplayer as well, so that you can steal that power weapon or even the enemy flag. You may have noticed that fusion coils and their multicolored siblings can now be picked up and tossed at enemies for some quick AoE damage, but running to go and pick one up can compromise your position or just take ages. Grapple that coil to zip it straight into your hands before lobbing the explosive at your foes. This makes for a great impromptu contact grenade. Incidentally, you can still use your grapple while holding coils or power seeds, which can make up for Chief's slower movement speed. Once you reach the open world and you are trying to cover larger distances, try using these next few tips. Trying to reach a nearby objective that's high above you, but you don't want to drive all the way up and around the mountain? Your Grappleshot is a much faster and, if we do say so ourselves, funner alternative. You can almost scale sheer walls with the grapple, although you will need to find a ledge to stand on with each pull so that your shot can recharge. Master Chief moves fast while grappling, and a good way to preserve that momentum is to shoot something elevated with nothing behind it so that you can slingshot yourself over it. This could be a large structure overhead, or alternatively, a precise shot to the top of a tree trunk can send you flying across the landscape. If you're stuck on the ground with no vehicle or elevated surfaces to slingshot from, you're not out of options yet. Grapple onto the ground in front of you, and as you make contact with the ground again, crouch to enter a slide. This will preserve some of your momentum from the grapple, allowing you to move faster than if you were just sprinting. Also, it's just so satisfying. If you see a vehicle nearby, you can grapple into it. That sounds simple, but this can be used in multiple ways. First, you can grapple towards a specific seat of a Warthog this way, allowing you to zip to a turret in a firefight and start taking people out. Second, you can use this on occupied enemy vehicles to pull yourself towards them and immediately hijack them. This can be so useful if you're constantly being bugged by a ghost or chopper, and is a great way to turn the tide of a firefight. This even works on banshees if you can get close enough to them. This also works in multiplayer, so keep this in mind for if you happen to get hijacked yourself, as you will probably be able to take your vehicle right back if you've got the Grappleshot equipped. Whew, that was a lot, right? And that's just with the base version of the Grappleshot. Let's talk about what's possible once you start upgrading it. The first upgrade you can unlock for the Grappleshot is the Voltaic upgrade. For 1 Spartan core, your Grappleshot will become electrically charged, which will stun unshielded enemies for several seconds when grappled. You can use this to leave them immobilized while you deal with other enemies, or to weaken them as you reel yourself in to strike. Next up is the Quick Shot, which reduces the Grappleshot's cooldown by 40%. That may not sound like much, but it drastically increases your vertical mobility options. You'll be able to chain together your Grappleshots faster, allowing you to get to previously unreachable areas, as well as pull off every previously listed tip more frequently. If you have a structure beside you, you can swing like Spider-Man along its walls by chaining together multiple swings. You can also just go straight up a wall or building now that may have been too tall for you before. The third upgrade is First Strike. While grappling something, you can hold the melee button to charge towards your target in a powerful slam move. This is an awesome way to conserve ammo and damage some of the larger enemies while they're stunned by your electric tether. The final upgrade is Reachfall, and functions as a direct progression of First Strike. The impact shockwave has an increased radius, deals more damage, and it now stuns enemies within the blast radius as well. This means you have an electrical detonation about as strong as a sticky grenade that can be used in any fight as many times as you like. You can take out clustered groups of smaller enemies, and even stun some of the larger ones that would otherwise be unaffected by your electric tether. As your shockwave is a bit more bombastic, be careful if you're charging towards an enemy near explosives, as your detonation blast could prove fatal. Hopefully this gives you a good sense of how to put that new Grappleshot to good use. Let us know your favourite ways to use it in the comments. For more on Master Chief's next adventure, check out the biggest changes to Halo Infinite's multiplayer, or where to track down all the hidden skulls around the game. For all your other Xbox needs, keep it here on IGN.